I know for a fact that if you clicked on this video, girl, it's because you're tired of being the one who's left feeling like you're an emotional wreck after having a conversation or an argument with a man. And we're going to flip that on its head because I know that you deserve to stand in your power. And actually, you can become the one who is actually ruling the relationship while the man still feels like he's the boss man. So, how do we do that so that you preserve your power, you preserve your sanity, and you also get to grow in peace without this man thinking that you're some threat? And this is not only in regards to men that you're in a relationship with, but this is also in regards to men in general, because men love draining women's energy. They will drain your energy as much as they can if you let them. So, it's very important that you clock this, or else you will be energy drained your whole life and you will end up feeling resentment towards the whole world because you let this happen. And it's hard to hear. You let this happen. But you know what? Society doesn't teach girls to be emotionally vigilant and be emotionally know how to use these tactics. That's exactly why it feels so fake and why it's like, ooh, am I doing something morally wrong by doing this thing? Of course it feels fake. Of course it feels wrong. This is not how we're programmed. It's gonna feel like someone put a DVD in the, I don't know, in the VHS cassette tape holder. It's like, it's gonna feel weird. That was a totally interesting analogy. Anyways, let's get into 5 ways in which you can emotionally protect yourself as a woman so that you can withstand anything and you can actually have a 1-up. You can be the power in this dynamic. Number 1, be the observer, not the oversharer. So one thing that men love to do is that they love to see how much they can get you to be emotional, or how much they can see if they can make you be invested in some type of argument so that they can battle with you. Especially if you're a smart woman, especially if you're a woman who's got it going, they're going to want to try to hustle and tussle and whatever with you. That's something that they want verbally because they know that they're going to be able to break you down, and then you will be like, and then they know that they won. Men, even men that you might have been in a relationship with for a long time, even men that are technically good. It is very, very rare to not find a man that will try to do this, subconsciously, because men are programmed to try to control or try to keep things in check. That's something that men are generally raised to do. So in most cases, this is a very important skill to have. What you do is that when a man starts arguing with you, it could be about something completely trivial, like maybe you are watching a TV show and he brings up some type of opinion that he has, or maybe he's just trying to nag at you in regards to what do you think about this and that? What you do is that you flip the script, and then you start asking him questions about what he thinks. And when he starts talking, instead of you interacting, and when he asks you what you think, it's like, you know what, I don't really have an opinion on that. You say, I don't really have an opinion on that, because then he feels like he can influence you. But what you truly do is that you let him yap. Instead of you being the one who yaps and you getting a trauma bond with this man, you're letting the man trauma bond to you. Because as much as the men don't want to admit it, they actually love oversharing with women. They're going to say that women talk too much and women are too emotional, but they don't know what a therapist is until they've actually let themselves have one. So what they're going to use you as a therapist. And in this regard, you're not going to be the therapist. You're not actually going to help him. You're not going to help him. What you're going to do is that you're going to let him talk. Just let him yap, and then you pick up on patterns. Pick up on his patterns, let him talk your ear offs. And if it gets too much, just start singing Christmas songs in your ears, and then once in a while be like, oh, interesting. Oh, interesting. That way, he's going to, first and foremost, he might get mad at you for being not as interested in the conversation as you usually are, but that's a pattern you need to pick up on. You're here to listen. You're going to be like, oh, I'm just trying to listen, honey. I'm really interested in your opinions. That way, flip the script. And that way, you are also not trauma bonding with him. He's trauma bonding with you. 1-up on that. The next thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to get good at using the law of attraction to make sure that you have the upper hand in relationships. I don't know why we don't talk about the law of attraction when it comes to being able to outsmart men, but it is essential because men essentially respond to the way that you give them attention. And even if the attention is because they did something wrong, they're going to still count that attention as attention. They're going to think that it's positive. This is kind of the same way that dogs think that if you pat them and you sit down and you talk to them after they've bitten someone, they don't think that they did something wrong. They think, oh, she's patting me on my head. She's talking to me softly. That means that I probably did something right because she's giving me attention. I'm going to go out and bite again. This is exactly how you train men to actually be bad towards you. And I hate to say it like that. A lot of the times why we end up being treated badly, it's because we train these men to treat us badly because we feed into the pattern of letting them have our attention whenever they do something bad. So they clock that we will become emotional. We will literally crash out. We will seek them. We will write paragraphs. We will call them. We would all of this whenever they do something wrong. So they keep doing something wrong because they know we got a chokehold on us. This is why it's essential to be able to clock the law of attraction, because where attention flows, energy goes. And men love to test women to see if they are gonna react, because that's how they know they got you. They got you. They got you. What you're gonna have to do is that whenever he's trying to like bring up something, like he wants to, you can tell that now he's gonna try to emotionally drain you a little bit. Maybe this man is doing something that you don't entirely like. Maybe he doesn't send you good morning texts. Maybe he doesn't, I don't know, whatever it is you want your man to do for you. What you don't do is that you don't bring up, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you do that? Because then he's like, okay, I got her. She's sticking, she's staying, even though I'm not doing this, and she's bringing it up. She's giving me energy, and I don't have to do anything. I can actually be meaner to her, and she will do more for me. Easy. So what you do instead is that you just like let it fly. And I don't mean like let it fly. I mean, if he's doing bad stuff, just leave. But if he's not exactly acting according to the dog training that you are trying to give him, you're not going to give him a treat. You're going to zone out a little bit emotionally. And if he asks you, just be like, you are having women's troubles or something. If he can't understand that one, then definitely let him rot. Burn him on the stake. And then whenever he does something really right, you applaud it. You say, oh, I love this. I really love it. Because then it's kind of like when a dog gets a treat, like, oh, you gave me your paw. Good boy. He's going to be wagging his tail in his head so much. What as women have a tendency to do with men is that imagine you're baking a pie. And your life or your relationships with men, what you want in your life or in relationships with men, is the pie. This pie has specific ingredients that you need to put in it. When you go in your kitchen to bake this pie, aka like assemble the life or the relationship that you want, but you know what's also in the cupboard apart from the ingredients that you're gonna put in your pie? There's also pepper, and pepper doesn't taste very good in your pie. If you're baking a pie, what is the thing that you're gonna do? You're gonna ignore the pepper, you're gonna take the ingredients that you need for your pie, and you're gonna bake your pie. That's easy. That is literally how you solve that. Like, take the things that you want, put them in the pie. What we don't do is that we cuss out the pepper. We take out the pepper from the cupboard. We start saying, you're doing something wrong. Why are you even here? Because that pepper is not going to be, it doesn't belong in our pie. Why are we cussing it out? Why are we acting like it's such an important thing? If we start acting like the pepper is such an important thing, then it becomes an important thing. The pepper is still going to exist though, but we're only going to be able to have it in our life if we pay attention to it. This is exactly how relationships with men work as well. If the only thing that you can focus on is all of the things he's doing wrong, then your pie is never going to get baked, girl. Your pie is never going to get baked. Your dog is never going to get trained because you're rewarding bad behavior and you're staying stuck in all of the things that you don't want instead of focusing on all of the things that you do want. And also, if you're emotionally dependent on a man like that, because a man is not emotionally dependent on you like that, or at least he isn't until you flip the script and you become the dog trainer. Number next is get yourself some hobbies, girl. The easiest way for you to be less emotionally attached to these men when you're having arguments with them And when they're trying to nag you or when they're trying to whatever, and I'm not even saying just your relationships, like we're talking just men in general. Because a lot of the times we think that if we give our energy to men, that they're going to reciprocate. That's a lie. They're not going to reciprocate. They're like, I got you. And then they're just going to take your energy until you're drained. And then they're like, oh, why is she looking like that? Oh, why are you never making an effort with yourself? Or they're going to tell you, why are you making such an effort with yourself? I don't think you should do that. Whatever. They always have something going on. What you're going to do is you're going to have to get very good at having hobbies. Find something that you like doing, girl. If the only thing you can do is be on your phone, watch TikToks, watch Reels, chat up men, girl, that's not a hobby. You're not growing. What are you doing? You are so much more prone to getting played throughout your whole life as a young girl, especially if you start off your adult dating pattern or your adult woman pattern with no hobbies, and the only thing that you can think about is men are gonna like me. So get good at having hobbies. Find something, like start watching documentaries. I don't know, even watching cat videos can be funny. Start learning economics. Go to night school. Find something that you like doing. Especially because hobbies will also make you attract other people that are interested in that. And suddenly you're going to have people that are interested in that. And you don't need no man for that. The hobbies are essential. Get some hobbies. Go cosplaying. Go to Comic-Con. Watch documentaries about movies. Get into fashion. Spend your time and your money on things that are going to make it so that you're going to grow your life quality, and whatever a man wants to provide for you, he's going to have to provide more than that. He's going to have to join you on your adventures to Disneyland. And I didn't just mention all of the things that I truly like, because I did. The fourth thing is you're going to have to get very good at dating yourself instead of just dating men. The reason why you're probably feeling like you need to give your time and your energy to men that honestly act kind of like they've had a lobotomy, even though they haven't, like, why are you acting like that? Anyways, is because you haven't gotten comfortable with dating yourself. You haven't gotten comfortable with self-love. Today, we're preaching self-love like it's this new designer purse. Like everyone gotta try it, but we're not really doing it. Because self-love in reality is letting yourself be seen by yourself, by others. It's letting yourself hold your own emotions. It's letting yourself cry. The reason why we actually end up being in relationships with men or being in situationships, girl, why are you in a situationships? Ooh, and I can't say that. I can't say that. Anyways, the reason why we end up, you like my knee? The reason why we end up getting into these really bad patterns with men is because we are actually mirroring their behavior. And so when we get into a relationship or a situationship or whatever with these men, there's wrong. The reason there's something wrong, because there's not supposed to necessarily be something wrong, is because there's something we haven't worked on. Because the law of attraction says this. I'm very law of attraction-y, you know that. Whatever it is you want, whatever it is you need, whatever it is you've asked for, it should be able to get to you like this. But the only reason it's not is because you're not allowing it. And what does this have to do with dating yourself? Well, a lot of the times what we do is that we get into a relationship, and then whenever men show a mirror to us, and I'm not saying that some of these men aren't wrong or some of these men aren't bad. They can still be a mirror to you even if they're not bad, even if they're bad. The reason why, we always know that girl who's like, I always end up in a relationship with narcissistic men and I hate men. It's like, yeah, girl, you do, because it's a mirror. It's a mirror. There's something that you haven't fixed. There's something that you haven't worked on that you need to work on, or else you're going to keep getting stuck in this cycle. Okay? You're going to keep getting stuck in this cycle of having bad experiences, of being played emotionally, because these men are a mirror to you. You can actually have a relationship with someone and the relationship is very nice. And then when you start doing self-growth, eventually something switches. Something like crashes, something is different. And the reason why it's different is because this person energetically, spiritually, is is called in to be a mirror to you so that you can actually purge the behavior that you are having that is actually stopping you from having the perfect relationship. And this does not excuse men's bad behavior at all, but we also need to be introspective. We need to look at ourselves, because whatever happens around us is a result of something we've energetically called in. There's a reason why we get certain challenges, because we're meant to reflect on what is this supposed to tell me about me. This does not mean that whatever they're doing is not something that they should take responsibility for and it's all on them. And there are instances of that, but why we get emotionally played and why we need to start dating ourselves first and foremost is because we are too good at saying it's all the men's fault, it's all society's fault. And you know what? You might say you hate me for saying this one, because it's definitely not a tip that I feel like the girlies want to hear, but it is very essential. It is very important. It is very, very important in when it comes to you getting good at not getting yourself emotionally drained, because the universe is trying to make you emotionally drained so that you get so tired of being emotionally drained so that you finally stand up for yourself. That is exactly what the universe is doing. It wants you to be emotionally drained because you're not willing to face whatever issues you have until something is going completely wrong. It's kind of like, I don't know, if you have a little bit of a leak at home. I don't know, maybe you have a leaky roof or whatever. And what you do is like you ignore it. But then eventually like you get dry rot in your house because it's been like leaking a little bit. And then there's mold in the whole house, and then the whole house needs to be trashed. You don't pick up on the small signs. You're like, oh, I can wait till tomorrow. I can wait till tomorrow. The problem's not that big. The problem is only leaking a little bit. It's only leaking a little bit. You try to put a Band-Aid on. The Band-Aid's going to be ripped through. You can't put a Band-Aid on a wound. You can't put a Band-Aid on a flesh wound. You're going to bleed through. So what you're going to have to understand is that these challenges are here because you haven't there's something you haven't faced, and the universe is trying to shove it down your throat. It's trying to shove it down your throat so that you choke on it. And you're like, I'm never going to have this happen to me again. This is why we have to date ourselves, so that we understand that it is okay for us to feel the things that we're feeling, but that we also become comfortable with sitting with it. Because a lot of the times we don't want to... We have the mirror. We don't want to face ourselves. We don't want to look ourselves in the mirror. We want to see everyone else. We don't want to look ourselves in the mirror. We don't want to say, well, it's me. We don't want to say it's me. We want to say it's everyone else. Yeah. This is why we have to get good at journaling. We have to get good at writing down our thoughts by ourselves, facing ourselves, asking ourselves questions. Explore yourself. Everything that you need to know about yourself, it's in there, but you just haven't tapped into it yet. And the last thing I'm going to have to give you as a piece of advice is give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. When it comes to all of the self-growth stuff that we have out on the internet, a lot of the time it kind of feels like you have to go all in, and if it doesn't work out the first time around, then like you're not going to be able to quantum leap into your dream reality or whatever they say. But the truth is, the way that you're truly going to be able to step into the version of yourself that you deserve to be and be less emotionally dependent on men is to not be too hard on yourself whenever something does go wrong. Whenever it is you can't set an emotional boundary, whenever it is you can't use all of the other advice, whenever it is you feel like you really want company. Because it's okay. It's okay to feel that. Girl boss culture has sold us this idea that we don't need to be dependent on anyone, while in reality we need to be dependent on our own emotions, and we need to actually be very, very in touch. We're not here to let our emotions control us. We're here to observe our emotions, let them be, so that we do not suppress them, so that they don't turn into a shadow side. This is why I think it's so important that we have this conversation about how men try to emotionally manipulate us, because a lot of the times it's actually what we let slide. So it's all to do with our boundaries too. And I can make a whole video about boundaries you can have, or boundaries that are good to set, for example, if you're a neurodivergent. Let me know in the comment section below. Love you guys.